The fluorescent lights hummed softly in the Seoul Astronomical Center as rows of computers processed endless streams of data from deep space. A gentle rain tapped against the tall windows, creating a soothing backdrop to the usual electronic beeps and whirs that filled the room. Dr. Hyun Park had been staring at his monitor for 16 hours straight, his eyes burning from the strain. For 2 decades, he had dedicated his life to searching for signs of intelligent life beyond Earth. Most of his colleagues had given up hope years ago, but Park persisted. Coffee cups littered his desk, a testament to his unwavering dedication. The signal came at 3:47 a.m. local time. At first, Park thought he was hallucinating from exhaustion. But as he blinked and rubbed his eyes, the pattern remained. His hands trembled as he ran the initial analysis. The sequence was unlike anything they had seen before. A perfect stream of prime numbers, followed by the mathematical constant pi calculated to 1,000 digits. "This can't be natural," he whispered to himself, running additional verification protocols. Each test confirmed what he already knew in his heart. They had finally found it. Proof of intelligent life. The young scientist's fingers flew across the keyboard as he expanded the data stream. Hidden within the mathematical sequences were coordinates, pointing to a location 16 light-years from Earth. More incredibly, there was a timestamp, a specific date and time for a meeting, encoded in a way that any advanced civilization would understand. Park reached for the phone with shaking hands, then stopped. He needed to be absolutely certain before alerting Director Kim. One false alarm could end his career. For the next hour, he meticulously checked and rechecked his findings, running every verification test in the handbook and several he invented on the spot. When Director Yun Kim arrived at work that morning, Park was waiting by her office. Dark circles ringed his eyes, and his usually neat hair stuck out at odd angles. "Director Kim, please, you need to see this immediately," he said, his voice barely containing his excitement. The director followed him to his workstation, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Kim had been in charge of the center for 15 years, and she had seen countless false alarms. But as she studied the data streaming across Park's screen, her professional composure cracked. Her eyes widened, and she gripped the back of Park's chair for support. "Show me everything," she commanded, pulling up a chair. For the next 2 hours, Park walked her through his findings. The signal wasn't just random mathematics. It was an invitation. The unknown senders had crafted their message specifically to be understood by a civilization advanced enough to detect it. They wanted contact. By noon, the center was buzzing with activity. Every available scientist had been called in to analyze the data. The atmosphere crackled with excitement as each new discovery confirmed the signal's artificial nature. This was no natural phenomenon. This was first contact. Word spread quickly through the scientific community. The United Nations Security Council called an emergency session as governments worldwide grappled with the implications. News networks broke into regular programming with special reports, and social media exploded with theories and speculation. In the center's main conference room, Park sat quietly as military officials and government representatives debated the next steps. Should humanity respond? Was it safe to reveal our location to an unknown alien civilization? The coordinates could be a trap, some argued. Others insisted this was humanity's greatest opportunity for advancement. Through it all, Park kept returning to his workstation, studying the elegant mathematics of the signal. There was something almost familiar about it, something that tugged at the edges of his scientific intuition. The senders had gone to great lengths to make their message understood. Why would hostile beings make such an effort? As the sun set over Seoul, Park watched the data scroll past one more time. In those numbers and equations, he saw not threat but opportunity. A hand reached out across the stars in friendship. Whether humanity would grasp that hand remained to be seen. The debate raged through the night and into the following days. Governments argued, scientists theorized, and the public waited anxiously for a decision. The future of human civilization might well depend on their response to this cosmic invitation. For Park, the choice was clear. After 20 years of searching the stars, he had found what he was looking for. As he left the center late that night, he paused to look up at the sky. Somewhere out there, someone was waiting for humanity's answer. He smiled, knowing that regardless of the outcome, the universe would never look quite the same again. The rain had stopped, and the stars shone brightly overhead. Humanity stood at a crossroads, facing perhaps the most important decision in its history. The question that had haunted philosophers and scientists for centuries, "Are we alone?" had been answered. Now they faced an even more profound question. What do we do next? Starlight reflected off the UEA's Hope's pristine hull as it floated in the lunar shipyard. After 6 months of preparations, humanity's first interstellar vessel was ready for its historic journey. The ship's smooth silver surface caught the sunlight, creating a beacon of hope visible from Earth's surface. Captain Ji Lee walked through the bridge's sliding doors, her boots making soft sounds against the polished floor. She had earned this command through 20 years of service in the Space Force, but nothing could have prepared her for this mission. Her fingers moved across the digital screens as she reviewed the crew manifest one final time. Dr. Sun Cho sat at his station, his eyes fixed on the patterns of the alien transmission. As the ship's xenolinguist, he had spent months studying the message, looking for additional layers of meaning in its mathematical sequences. His desk was covered with notebooks filled with theories and possibilities. In engineering, Da Kim's hands moved steadily over the experimental faster-than-light drive controls. The drive was humanity's greatest technological achievement, a marvel that would carry them across 16 light-years of space. Kim had helped design it, and now he would help guide it on its maiden voyage. Final systems check complete, Captain. Navigation Officer Min Lee announced from her station. Her voice carried the same mix of excitement and nervousness they all felt. All parameters are within normal range. The Hope wasn't just a ship, it was a library of human achievement. Its data banks contained centuries of art, literature, and music. Scientific knowledge from every field of study was stored in its computers. The cultural histories of every nation on Earth had been carefully preserved and translated. They carry humanity's story to the stars. Captain Lee stood before the main viewing window, watching the Earth rise over the lunar horizon. The blue planet seemed so peaceful from this distance, showing no sign of the debates and conflicts that had nearly prevented this mission from launching. Engineering reports all systems green. Kim's voice came through the speakers. The FTL drive is performing exactly as designed. We can launch whenever you're ready, Captain. Lee took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. Every eye on the bridge was turned to her, waiting for the command that would begin humanity's greatest adventure. Captain, Dr. Cho called out suddenly, his voice tight with excitement. We're picking up something new. Another signal, similar to the first one. The bridge crew gathered around his station as data streamed across his screen. The new signal matched the mathematical patterns of the original message, but it contained different coordinates. Coordinates that were moving. It's another ship, Officer Lee said, her fingers flying across her navigation console. The trajectory suggests it's heading to the same meeting point as us. Captain Lee studied the data carefully. This changed everything. Instead of meeting unknown beings at a designated point in space, they might encounter them during the journey itself. The mission had just become more complex and more dangerous. All stations, prepare for departure, she announced, her voice steady and clear. We've trained for this. We're ready. The crew moved to their positions with practiced efficiency. Engineering reported the FTL drive was charging. Navigation plotted their course. Communications made one final check with mission control on Earth. Through the viewing window, the shipyard's lights began to dim as the Hope's own systems came fully online. The gentle hum of the engines could be felt through the deck plates, a reminder of the incredible power at their command. This is Captain Lee to all hands. She spoke into the ship-wide communication system. We are about to embark on the most important journey in human history. Whatever we find out there, we carry with us the hopes and dreams of our entire species. May fortune favor the bold. The countdown began. 10 seconds. The bridge crew ran final checks. 5 seconds. Engineer Kim reported the FTL drive was at full power. 3 seconds. Navigation confirmed their course. 1 second. The UEA's Hope slipped free from its moorings and moved gracefully away from the lunar shipyard. As the ship cleared the safety zone, its engines flared to life, pushing it faster and faster toward its destiny. Behind them, Earth and its moon grew smaller until they were just another pair of lights in the vast darkness of space. Ahead lay the unknown, both thrilling and terrifying in its possibilities. Somewhere out there, another ship was moving toward the same destination, carrying who knew what kind of beings. Captain Lee settled into her command chair, watching the stars streak past as they accelerated. They were no longer just Earth's children. They were explorers, diplomats, and representatives of their entire species. The future of humanity rested in their hands, and they would not fail. The binary stars cast a golden glow across the bridge of the UES Hope as the ship emerged from faster-than-light travel. The twin suns danced around each other in an eternal cosmic ballet, their light painting everything in warm hues of amber and red. After 3 months of travel, they had reached their destination. Captain Lee's hands gripped her chair's armrests as the ship's sensors came back online. The crew worked in focused silence, each person aware of the historical weight of this moment. Officer Min Lee's navigation console beeped steadily as it mapped their position in this distant star system. "Contact," announced the sensor officer, his voice barely above a whisper. "Large vessel detected at 200,000 kilometers, holding position." Through the main viewport, they could see it. The other ship was massive, at least 3 times the size of the Hope. Its hull gleamed with a silvery blue metal unlike anything they had seen before. But there was something oddly familiar about its design. The smooth curves, the arrangement of its engines, even the way its command section was positioned. "It looks human," someone whispered, voicing what everyone was thinking. Before Captain Lee could respond, Dr. Cho's console lit up with incoming data. The xenolinguist's fingers flew across his screen, his eyes widening with each passing second. "Captain," he called out, his voice shaking, "we're receiving a transmission." The language. "I can't believe this." He pressed a button, and sounds filled the bridge. The crew stood in stunned silence as words became clear, words in an ancient form of Korean, one that hadn't been commonly spoken for thousands of years. The main screen flickered to life, and Captain Lee felt her breath catch in her throat. The face that appeared was human, distinctly human. A man in a uniform stood before them, his features clearly Asian, his bearing military. Behind him, a bridge crew that could have stepped out of any Earth space facility went about their duties. "Greetings, travelers from Earth," the man said in perfectly clear, though archaic Korean. "I am Captain Won-song of the stellar Commonwealth vessel Starseeker. We have waited a long time for this meeting." The bridge crew of the Hope stared in amazement. Dr. Cho worked frantically at his console, translating for those who didn't understand Korean. Captain Lee stepped forward, her training taking over despite her shock. "I am Captain Ji Lee of the United Earth Ship Hope," she responded in Korean. You're human." Captain Song smiled warmly. "We are indeed human, Captain Lee. Though our paths diverged long ago, we share the same ancestral home." Over the next hour, Captain Song told an incredible story. 12,000 years ago, Earth had faced a catastrophic event, a massive solar flare that threatened to destroy human civilization. But humanity wasn't alone. An advanced alien race, seeing potential in the young species, chose to help. They evacuated a small population, roughly 10,000 humans from various parts of the world. "Our ancestors were taken to a safe world," Song explained, his voice carrying both pride and sadness. "The aliens who saved us, The guardians as we came to know them, taught us, guided us, helped us build a new civilization. They are gone now, having passed from the galaxy millennia ago, but their legacy lives on in the stellar Commonwealth. Captain Lee found herself gripping the edge of her console for support. How many? How large is the Commonwealth? 50 star systems, Song replied. Millions of humans, all descendants of Earth. We have watched our homeworld from afar, waiting for the right moment to make contact. When your people began reaching for the stars in earnest, we knew the time had come. Questions poured forth from the Hope's crew. How had they maintained their culture? Why had they waited so long to contact Earth? What advances had they made? Captain Song answered each one patiently, but there was tension in his voice that suggested he had more to tell. Captain Lee, he said finally, his expression growing serious. While this reunion brings us great joy, it is not the only reason we reached out. There are things you need to know. Dangers your people must be prepared for. The atmosphere on the Hope's bridge grew tense. Something in Captain Song's tone suggested that their journey had only just begun, and that the revelation of their lost human cousins might be the least shocking news they would hear today. Through the viewport, the binary stars continued their eternal dance, witnesses to a reunion 12 millennia in the making. Humanity had not only reached the stars, they had already been there, waiting to welcome their long-lost family home. But as Captain Lee studied Song's grave expression, she knew this was just the beginning of an even greater story. Soft lights illuminated the meeting room aboard the Star Seeker as members of both crews gathered around a large table. The walls displayed holographic images of distant worlds, the 50 star systems of the stellar Commonwealth. Each image showed thriving cities, lush forests, and vast oceans, all home to the descendants of ancient Earth. Cultural Officer Yun Song sat with rapt attention as Dr. Cho played recordings from Earth's greatest composers. Tears formed in her eyes as the notes of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony filled the room. Her hands moved slightly, conducting along with the music she had never heard before, yet somehow felt familiar. This piece, she said softly as the music faded, it resonates with something deep inside us. We have similar compositions, passed down through generations. Our ancestors must have carried the essence of this music in their hearts when they left Earth. The Earth crew watched in amazement as Song accessed the Star Seeker's cultural database, playing a piece composed 3,000 years after their ancestors' departure. The melody carried echoes of Earth's classical traditions, but had evolved into something unique, a bridge between two worlds. Engineering teams from both ships spent long hours comparing technologies. The Commonwealth's advances seemed like magic to the Earth engineers, yet they had followed similar paths of development. They had faced the same challenges with fusion power, the same struggles with artificial gravity, the same breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel. It's remarkable, Engineer Dag Kim said, studying the Commonwealth's engine designs. We took different paths, but arrived at similar solutions. The laws of physics are universal, after all. The Commonwealth crew marveled at Earth's technological resilience. Despite starting over from scratch, their long-lost cousins had achieved in centuries what had taken the Commonwealth millennia to develop. The Earth crew's innovative approaches to old problems sparked excited discussions among Commonwealth scientists. During mealtimes, they shared food from both cultures. Commonwealth cooking had preserved ancient recipes while incorporating ingredients from dozens of worlds. Earth curry met space-grown vegetables, creating new fusions that symbolized their reunion. We had to adapt, explained the Commonwealth's chef, preparing a dish that combined Korean kimchi with alien spices. But we never forgot the tastes of home. Every colony has its own variations of Earth dishes, each telling the story of our journey among the stars. The medical teams exchanged information about human evolution. 12,000 years of living on different worlds had created subtle variations, but they were still fundamentally the same species. Commonwealth doctors shared treatments for diseases Earth still struggled with, while Earth doctors provided insight into genetic conditions that had emerged in the colonies. In the ship's recreation area, Crew members taught each other games. Earth chess met Commonwealth strategy games that had evolved from ancient Go and Baduk. Sports from both cultures were demonstrated, leading to friendly competitions that helped bridge the gap between the long-separated cousins. "We faced many of the same challenges you're dealing with now," Captain Song told Captain Lee during one of their daily meetings. "Environmental crises nearly destroyed several of our early colonies. Social upheavals threatened to tear our society apart. The technology that helped us survive sometimes created new problems we had to solve." The Commonwealth had learned hard lessons about sustainable development, social harmony, and the responsible use of technology. They had nearly lost everything more than once, but each crisis had made them stronger. Their experiences offered hope and guidance for Earth's current struggles. Captain Lee found herself spending hours in the Star Seekers' historical archives, learning about the Commonwealth's journey. Their story was humanity's story, a tale of survival, adaptation, and unwavering determination to thrive among the stars. "Your people's resilience amazes us," Cultural Officer Song said, watching recordings of Earth's recent space achievements. "Without guidance, without help, you've accomplished so much. The human spirit truly knows no bounds." As the weeks passed, the crews became more than diplomatic representatives. They became family. They shared stories of their lives, their hopes, their fears. They found common ground in their shared humanity, despite the 12 millennia that separated their paths. The Earth crew learned that the Commonwealth had preserved something precious, a sense of unity that Earth still struggled to achieve. 50 star systems worked together, maintaining their unique cultures while sharing a common purpose. It was a lesson Earth desperately needed to learn. Yet the Commonwealth crew admired Earth's diversity, its vibrant chaos, its constant drive to innovate and explore. They had maintained order and stability, but perhaps at the cost of some of the creative friction that made Earth so dynamic. As they shared their histories, hopes, and dreams, both crews realized they had something to learn from each other. Their reunion wasn't just about reconnecting. It was about completing each other, making humanity whole again after 12,000 years apart. The grand dining hall aboard the Star Seeker sparkled under soft lighting. The table was set with dishes from both Earth and Commonwealth worlds, creating a perfect blend of the familiar and the exotic. Laughter and conversation filled the air as crew members from both ships shared stories over their meal. Captain Lee noticed the change in Captain Song's demeanor as the dinner plates were being cleared. His usual warm smile faded, replaced by a look of deep concern. The Commonwealth captain glanced at his officers, receiving subtle nods of approval. "Captain Lee," Song said, his voice dropping to a serious tone, "what I'm about to share will be difficult to hear, but you must know the real reason we chose this time to contact Earth." The room grew quiet. The easy conversation died away as everyone sensed the shift in mood. Captain Lee set down her glass, giving Song her full attention. 3 years ago, our deep space monitors detected unusual activity near Earth's sector, Song continued. "We discovered a group called the Collective, an alliance of aggressive species that sees emerging civilizations as threats to their power." Song gestured, and a holographic display appeared above the table. It showed countless ships, each designed in a way that seemed to reject any sense of beauty or artistry. They moved like a swarm of insects, consuming everything in their path. The Collective believes that new civilizations must either be controlled or eliminated before they can become rivals, Song explained. They've already destroyed 3 young spacefaring cultures in the past decade alone. Captain Lee watched the holographic footage of a peaceful world reduced to ash by Collective weapons. Her hands clenched into fists under the table, but her face remained composed. "How much time does Earth have?" she asked quietly. 2 years, perhaps less, Song replied. They're methodical in their approach. First comes surveillance, then isolation, and finally destruction. They've already begun monitoring Earth's communications. The Earth crew members exchanged worried glances. Their world had only recently achieved faster-than-light travel. Their weapons and defenses were primitive compared to what they were seeing in the hologram. But there is hope, Song continued, his voice strengthening. The Commonwealth has faced the collective before. We fought them to a standstill at our borders. With our help, Earth can be prepared when they arrive. Captain Lee studied the tactical data scrolling across the display. The collected ships were numerous but followed predictable patterns. Their weapons were powerful but relied on overwhelming force rather than tactical sophistication. We can provide shield technology, weapon systems, and training, offered the Commonwealth's military advisor. Our shipyards can help upgrade Earth's defenses. Together, we stand a real chance. Questions poured forth from the Earth crew. How many ships did the collective have? What were their weaknesses? How had the Commonwealth managed to resist them? Song and his officers answered each query patiently, sharing everything they knew about the coming threat. Earth's greatest advantage is its unpredictability, Song explained. Your people think differently than the collective. They won't expect the innovative tactics Earth forces could develop. Combined with our technology and experience, it could give us the edge we need. Captain Lee stood and walked to the viewing window, looking out at the twin stars. Somewhere out there, a hostile force was preparing to destroy her world, her people. Everything humanity had built was at risk. Why help us? She asked, turning back to Song. You could have stayed hidden, protected your own worlds. Song's expression softened. Because you are our family, he said simply. We watched from afar as Earth rebuilt after our ancestors left. We saw your struggles, your triumphs, your determination to reach the stars. We won't abandon you now. The Commonwealth crew members nodded in agreement. Despite 12,000 years of separation, the bond of shared humanity remained strong. Besides, Song added with a grim smile, the collective won't stop with Earth. They'll keep consuming civilizations until someone stops them. Together, we might finally have the strength to end their threat once and for all. Captain Lee looked around the room at both crews, Earth and Commonwealth humans united by common danger and common purpose. The path ahead would be difficult, but they would face it together. Then we have work to do, she said firmly. Earth needs to know what's coming, and we need to start preparing. We have 2 years to get ready for the fight of our lives. The dinner that had started with celebration ended with determination. As both crews left to begin their preparations, they carried with them a new sense of purpose. Humanity had reunited just in time to face its greatest challenge, and they would meet it as one people, united across the stars. The United Nations Assembly Hall buzzed with nervous energy as leaders from every nation gathered to hear the news. The massive screen showed images from the Commonwealth ships, proof of both humanity's lost cousins and the threat they had discovered. For the first time in history, Earth's nations moved beyond their differences, united by a common purpose: survival. Engineer Kim stood in the orbital shipyard, watching as Commonwealth technicians installed shield generators on Earth's vessels. The sight of Earth's ships being upgraded with technology centuries ahead of their time filled him with both hope and anxiety. Beside him, Engineer Red explained the principles behind their defensive systems. The key is understanding how energy flows through the shield matrix, Rice said, his hands moving as he sketched diagrams in the air. Your power systems need minimal modification to support the technology. We designed it to be compatible with Earth's current capabilities. Teams of Earth and Commonwealth engineers worked around the clock, transforming Earth's modest space fleet into something formidable. The learning curve was steep, but Earth's engineers proved remarkably adaptable. Kim found himself working 18-hour days, absorbing centuries of technological advancement in mere weeks. Your people think differently than we do, Ra commented one day, watching Kim modify a shield design to work more efficiently with Earth's power systems. You see solutions we might have missed. Perhaps that's why the collective fears emerging civilizations so much. On Earth's surface, Commonwealth scientists helped establish a planetary defense network. Massive shield generators were constructed at strategic points around the globe. Early warning systems, designed to detect collective ships, spread across the solar system like an invisible web. The transformation of Earth's defenses progressed faster than anyone had expected. The Commonwealth's careful planning and Earth's determination proved to be a powerful combination. Within 6 months, the solar system had changed from an invulnerable target to a fortified stronghold. Military forces from Earth trained alongside Commonwealth veterans, learning to operate the new weapons and defensive systems. The Commonwealth officers were impressed by Earth's tactical creativity, while Earth's forces absorbed centuries of space combat experience. They relied too heavily on overwhelming force, a Commonwealth instructor explained during a tactical briefing. The collective thinks in straight lines. They don't expect tricks or unconventional strategies. That's where Earth's military thinking gives us an advantage. The first test of their preparations came without warning. Long-range sensors detected 3 collective scout ships entering the solar system near Neptune. They moved with precision, clearly expecting to find an unsuspecting civilization. Instead, they found a joint Earth Commonwealth task force waiting for them. 6 ships, 3 from Earth and 3 from the Commonwealth, moved to intercept. Captain Lee commanded the Earth contingent from the upgraded UES Hope, while Captain Song led the Commonwealth forces. "Remember your training." Lee's voice came through the command channel. "Stay in formation. Trust your shields. Trust each other." The collective scouts approached with obvious confidence, their sensors probing the defensive line. They had no way of knowing that Earth's ships now carried Commonwealth technology, or that the crews had trained together for months. The battle lasted less than 10 minutes. When the collective ships opened fire, their energy weapons splashed harmlessly against the upgraded shields. The return fire from the Earth Commonwealth force was precise and devastating. 1 scout ship was disabled, while the other 2 retreated at maximum speed. "They'll be back," Captain Song said during the post-battle briefing. "And next time, they'll bring their full force. But we've shown them that Earth won't be an easy target." The successful defense had an unexpected effect on Earth's population. Seeing their ships fight alongside the Commonwealth vessels, protecting their solar system together, created a surge of unity and purpose. The last pockets of resistance to the alliance faded away. Engineer Kim stood with Ra in the orbital shipyard, watching Earth's first dedicated warships under construction. The vessels combined Commonwealth technology with Earth's innovative design approaches, creating something new, ships that represented the best of both civilizations. "We have maybe a year before their main fleet arrives," Ray said, studying the construction plans. "But look how far we've come in just 6 months. Imagine how ready we'll be in another year." Kim nodded, remembering how impossible their task had seemed at first. Now, watching Earth and Commonwealth crews working side by side, he felt something he hadn't expected: confidence. When the collective returned, they would find not 1 human civilization, but 2, standing together as family. "They don't understand what they've done," Kim said, watching a newly upgraded Earth ship perform maneuvers with its Commonwealth counterpart. "They thought they were hunting an easy target. Instead, they'd helped reunite humanity and made us stronger than ever." The twin fleets continued their patrol of the solar system, a visible symbol of humanity's renewed strength and unity. The collective would return, everyone knew that. But when they did, they would face something they had never encountered before: humanity whole and united, ready to fight for its future among the stars. The long-range sensors detected them first, hundreds of collective ships emerging from faster-than-light travel near Saturn. Their formation spread across space like a dark cloud, blocking out the stars behind them. The combined Earth Commonwealth fleet moved to intercept, their shields humming with power. Captain Lee stood on the bridge of the UES Hope, watching the tactical display as the 2 fleets approached each other. A year of preparation had led to this moment. Earth ships flew in perfect formation with their Commonwealth allies, their crews ready for the greatest battle in human history. "All ships report ready," Officer Mindley announced, her voice steady despite the tension. "Commonwealth fleet is in position. Planetary shields are at full power." The The collective ships moved with mechanical precision, clearly expecting an easy victory over what they thought was a young, isolated civilization. Their first volley of energy weapons illuminated space like artificial lightning. But humanity was ready. The combined fleet split into smaller groups, using tactics they had practiced for months. Earth ships darted between collective formations, disrupting their carefully planned attack patterns. Commonwealth vessels provided covering fire, their advanced weapons tearing through enemy shields. They're confused, Captain Song's voice came through the command channel. They'd never faced anything like this before. Press the advantage. The battle raged for 3 days. The collective threw everything they had against Earth's defenses, but they couldn't break through. When they tried to target Earth directly, they found the planetary shield network waiting for them. Every hour that passed showed the strength of humanity united. Engineer Kim and Engineer Ray worked tirelessly in the Hope's engine room, keeping the shields and weapons at peak efficiency. Their combined knowledge, Commonwealth experience, and Earth innovation kept the ships fighting long past their expected limits. On the second day, the collective tried to adapt to Earth's unconventional tactics, but as soon as they thought they had countered one strategy, the human fleet would switch to another. Commonwealth precision and Earth creativity proved to be an unbeatable combination. By the third day, the collective fleet had lost a third of their ships. Their remaining vessels showed signs of damage and confusion. Their perfect formations had broken down, and their attacks grew increasingly desperate. "They're pulling back," Officer Lee reported, watching the enemy ships retreat. Multiple ships jumping to faster than light. "The collective fleet is breaking up." A cheer went up across the bridge as the last enemy ships disappeared into the darkness of space. They had done it. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and emerged victorious. Hours later, Captain Lee stood on the Hope's observation deck, watching Earth's ships patrol alongside their Commonwealth allies. The blue planet shone below them, safe and secure. Captain Song joined her, his uniform showing signs of the long battle they had just fought. "This is just the beginning," Song said, his eyes following the movements of their combined fleet. "The collective will think twice before threatening another emerging civilization. Together, we can achieve anything." Lee nodded, feeling the truth of his words. "We never stopped being family," she replied softly. "We just didn't know it until now." Through the viewport, they could see Earth and Commonwealth crews conducting joint repair operations. Ships that had fought side by side were now helping each other heal. The sight filled Lee with pride and hope for the future. "What do you think happens next?" she asked, turning to Song. "We rebuild. We grow stronger. We explore together," he answered. "There are still so many stars out there, so many worlds to discover. And now we can face whatever we find as one people." The stars seemed brighter that day, twinkling with new promise. Humanity had not only survived, it had found itself again. After 12,000 years of separation, Earth and Commonwealth humans had reunited, stronger than ever. As repair crews worked outside, as ships patrolled the solar system, as Earth celebrated below, everyone felt the same thing. A sense of possibility. The universe was vast, full of both wonders and dangers. But humanity would face it together, united across the stars, ready for whatever adventures awaited them. The end.